Hello, friends and lovers. Welcome back to Hades 2. Yes, this is an aspect of Momus run, but I think I'd like to take the opportunity to kind of discuss a rather semi-basic system, but also one that is a bit convoluted, perhaps, sort of about rerolls and the reward options throughout the game. But yeah, let me talk about the run setup here. I do actually have an interesting Arcana cutter setup because I really want to turn the Knight, which means I don't have the lovers on, which I don't love, I guess you could say. And I don't really need the Huntress, but I did want Divinity on because I'm a greedy little goblin, basically. But yeah, it's Momus, so you really, really want the Knight on it from my perspective, at least. 34 fear is actually kind of spicy. We'll see what we can do, but let's talk about it here. So what can appear at the start of a run? Well, if you're not using a god keepsake, it could be a boon, it could be a hammer, it could be Hermes. I separated Hermes there from boons. Oh, it could be a hex too from Selene. I separated Hermes because Hermes is kind of special like that. Hermes is not like the other gods. You might notice that he has very different styles of boons, and that's because he's more like the hammers in actuality. I think we can take Lucid Gain here, right? To start ourselves off. That way the magic is resolved here. But yeah, Hermes is much more like a hammer. You can only get one Hermes boon in the first two zones. Once you pick up a boon from Hermes, he will no longer appear from the reward options until you get at least to the third zone, at which point you could then potentially get a second Hermes boon, and then that is it. Now, on the surface, obviously, it's a little bit different. You can actually get more Hermes boons by using the Shrines of Hermes. You can also pick up a third Hermes boon in the final shop in Tartarus here in this zone. Ugh. Might just be Blinding Rush, I'm kind of thinking, because I don't really love his attack or special here, I don't think, with this weapon. Do I? Don't I? We'll go the origination route here, I guess, instead. Either way. I would like to use the Omega cast here a good amount, but that kind of depends on if we get Winner's Circle as well as some other things, no doubt. Max health. All right. I'm actually going to do more max health here, too, I think. Oh, God, that was close. Unnecessarily close, probably. So yeah, hammers are the same thing. You can only get one hammer until you get to the third zone, when you can start getting offered a second hammer. Now, if you didn't get a hammer in the first two zones, yes, you could get two hammers like right away in the second zone then potentially. Oh, sorry, the third zone. So you can make it all up later on, in other words, both with Hermes and the hammers, essentially. I hope that does make sense. So yeah, you could technically thin out the pool of rewards if you purposefully take like a Hermes boon and or a hammer early on. I mean, particularly when it comes to the hammer, you're probably just going to be taking a hammer most runs early on anyway. There's no question about it, but Hermes is kind of a bit different. And I don't know if thinning the pool of rewards is really that effective at the end of the day. Hera. I think I'd like some hitch-related things a bit more than I would like what Aphrodite has, basically. Come here, buddy. Come on. Step inside. Gotcha. All right. In terms of, like, boons... Engagement ring, huh? It's not really the kind of cast you want. Oh, Fine Line is actually pretty sexy with all of this. Does it trigger every time? I actually don't remember. You think I'm ever going to get an attack or special boon? The special boon was good there. Probably would slightly prefer the attack, but I would have taken it probably. But Fine Line just sounds too interesting. Out of these, yeah. I mean, I could have taken just the bigger dress there. I think I'm gonna skip Chaos in order to see the shop here, though. Just would like more things here, mostly. Yeah, more Hera would be very nice, actually. Might want the max health. Don't need the palm, though. Definitely don't want the swap. I guess I'm gonna take a common attack. Okay. I think I will take that, too. That's a lot of max health nice and early, though. Very good. So where was I? There's a special thing going on in terms of the major pool of rewards. Maybe I should just go over what are the other major pool of rewards here. So you got boons, You got hammers. You got Hermes. Again, kind of separate, right? You got max magic. You got max health. You got gold. You got palms. You got hexes. You got Path of Stars once you already have a hex, too. So taking a hex does not actually remove it from the pool of rewards. Your attack has more range, so deals 100% more damage. It's still a moonshot out of those. We could take Hermes here. Do I actually want to, though? There's actually some reasons not to in some ways. I was kind of hoping for a cool attack thing, but it didn't really happen. Yeah, I'm actually going to save Hermes because I plan to put on Zag's Keepsake after this, and so we could rarify some cool things from Hermes is sort of my thought there. Yeah, so someone was asking, like, oh, so should we thin the pool of rewards so that you can make door rerolls better? And it's like, don't worry about door rerolls is what I would say, basically. You know, use those rerolls potentially on mini-bosses. Mini-boss doors are highlighted with a little skull on the bottom of them. Mini-boss doors can only give you boons. Often from gods that you already have, but if you don't have at least 4 gods is boons already, again, not including Hermes, then it could give you a new god. So it's mini-boss doors, in other words, are a good time to potentially get a specific boon from a specific god, because you can roll the door to get a specific god and then use potentially more rolls in order to get a specific boon. That's the best case scenario for using your rolls, I think, there. Artemis, how are you? Lovely to see ya. I think vital signs at 30% sounds pretty good to me. There are minor rewards. Those are silver doors that just give you the basic, like, meta currency things. My god, the amount of Hera in this world. Okay. Extended family wouldn't be terrible, I think. No dying wish. Fine line upgraded. I think it was already epic, was it not? Actually, was it? I think it was. But I want even more max health. I think I kind of do. Again, this, I think Momus can struggle a little bit. So yeah, we're going to do this, I think. So family disputes, aka trials, will only appear once you have at least 2 different gods' boons, not including Hermes. Once you take a family trial also, there is an internal cooldown. Internal cooldown is just a cooldown, I guess. In reality, there is a cooldown on when it can appear again. I don't totally remember exactly what it is. I assume it's just a specific number of chambers, though. I think you tend to wait like a whole nother zone before you're going to be able to get it again, is essentially. Stop doing things. Okay. Avoid. 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 Take the damage instead. I'll gladly do that. Let's just try to take out these witches real quick. My god, there's so many of them. I don't think you should bother, really, using your omegas that much. Which one is it? Not you. I think I was correct in this one. Boing. Got her. A little slow. But we have a lot to explain and a lot to go over here, and hopefully I don't get too sidetracked by it. You know, if you got questions, make sure you ask in the comments here. Either me or someone else, I'm sure, can help you out. You know what I mean? So the strategy is, if you're using rerolls, that is, instead of something like Jeweled Palm, then yeah, you save them for boons and maybe mini boss doors for the most part, I would say. If you're not using, that's kind of fine, right? If you're not using it and using like Fate Swim, or maybe you haven't even unlocked that many rerolls yet, I don't know how pertinent most of this information is going to be. You know, you kind of just take the best that you can get. Is there some kind of prevention from the game from offering you something like 2 palm doors in a row? I don't think so. Or like, is there a prevention from being offered another gold reward after this reward that we are taking right now? I also don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. So it's very possible that'll just happen, you know, so as long as it's not like a hammer, you know, like we already discussed. In terms of the god pool that I've already mentioned, the god pool is kind of referring to the system that the game has where you cannot get offered naturally more than 4 different gods' boons. Again, not including Hermes. Hey, there's a trial, right? I guess... God, they just won't give me any other gods, huh? But yeah, there you go. We got 2 different gods with boons, so that's what they're offering us. Artemis is also special, to be clear, as well as all the other, like, NPC event rooms, so to speak, like Dionysus as well. I am thinking about this, and I'm not certain about it, essentially. I'm thinking about their casts and other things. Would be nice, and we don't have that much money. All right. Sure, we'll take it. We shall take it. Whose trial is easier? I think maybe Apollo. So yeah, once we take this, there will be a cooldown. I don't really want her special. You could still take it, I guess. Proper upbringing, hereditary bane. I wouldn't rarefy it, that's for sure. Yes, it's actually a pretty solid boon. More hit damage is kind of nice in its own way, I reckon. Dropping the Omega cast first is pretty good. But yeah, since we already have origination from other methods, it's not the end of the world to take her special. What about his special nowadays? You could actually set up for his legendary, which would be funny. Plus the bigger AoE might be kind of cool. We also have dual moonshot, so all right, I'll go for it. We're getting there. We're gonna have to take more Hera boons here. This is a quite rare circumstance where they keep offering me the same 2 gods and not offering me any new gods. I would call that quite not really common, you know? Extended family helps with like the hitch damage, Omega cast damage. Not much else we have going on here. Fine line it does help with too. We are close to proper upbringing, which would eventually hit. Bridal glow, the attack, hereditary bane. Not that excited about extended family here, so I'm kind of okay with taking proper upbringing, I think. Might do a little bit more. Also might lead to something like uncommon grace later on from her as well. And we got Nemesis. All right, all right, all right, all right. Oh god, do I remember where I was going? What I was talking about exactly. Bunch of little enemies here too. I'm not certain there's like these strict manipulations you can do to like make sure you get offered like a palm. If you're trying to get just like a bunch of plain old palms, I'm afraid I don't think there's like too much you can really do about it. There's no way to increase your major rewards versus minor rewards either. Even though that was something that happened in Hades 1, there was an upgrade that made that happen. All right. I mean, Seleni's actually pretty good here. I just feel like skipping combat. So I'll visit my friend. Oh. Ugh. Oh, you could actually get the elements, which is kind of funny, right? What about the Hera legendary, then? I'll do that to be different. Proper upbringing is now online. Fine line got upgraded, a bunch of other things. So there is both the Hera and the Apollo legendary. I think we actually, I was going to say, are capable of getting all together now. All right, very good. That would be goofy fun. Apollo legendary we're a bit further from, I believe. I need another boon first, I'm pretty sure. Not certain we exactly have the magic to support it. We have plenty of Zag rarefies still. Please kill that thing. Sweet lord. It's a chaos gate. I know I was asking for gods, but I don't really want it. I'd rather just take the Hermes, probably. I do have a decent amount of cash now, though. Racing Thoughts is very good for this aspect, as you can imagine. The other 2 boons are actually pretty good, too, but I think you have to take Racing Thoughts here. I'm actually feeling pretty good about this run right about now. So that's a special kind of chamber. We got the free thing. Notice how there were 3 exits, right? There was a shop, and then there were 2 items. 2 boons. I mean, what you got offered there isn't really relevant necessarily there. But the fact that that was the second time we were offered a shop in the zone means that it is the final shop. And it means that the other doors besides that shop being offered are free items like we just got from that Hermes boon, right? It was a free item, you know, there was no combat, and it's sort of in lieu of the actual shop of itself. If you have a lot of money, you might just want to go to the shop instead. So that was the second shop. So the first shop of the zone is what we often refer to as the mid shop. The mid shop doesn't always appear. It's not guaranteed, but the final shop is always guaranteed. So you might get scammed out of the mid shop. It depends on the zone. Some zones it's more likely to either appear or not appear, basically. What? If you do choose to not go into what we call a mid shop, then it will not appear again in that zone. Every zone, almost every zone, has a mid shop. The one we're going into, Morning Fields, kind of doesn't. It essentially never appears except for some very, very specific runs via like Chaos Trials or some story-based runs. Oh yeah, about the God Pools, since I didn't finish my thoughts there. This is when y'all come in, but Haelian, don't you know you can get more than 4 gods as boons if you blah, blah, blah. Yes, if you use God Keepsakes, you can get more than 4 gods boons, and it's also just possible to happen naturally if you get the 4th god in the shop, and then the exit is a 5th god, blah, 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 blah. Yes, it's very possible. Hammer for fun? Melting Swipe. It's kind of useful in its own way. Yarn. Hydrolite. I'll take the yarn since I don't think I'll be able to spend the money very well otherwise anyway. I'll even take the move speed for convenience. Melting Swipe, Melting Swipe. So yeah, so usually, though, if you get 4 different gods as boons, after that point, the game will no longer naturally show you different gods from that point. You actually have to hold their boons to be clear to, or have taken them, I should say. So if you simply see, say, Hephaestus in the run, or we just saw Ares earlier on in the run, right? He is not in the pool because we did not actually take his boon there. It's only when you actually take it. If you sell it, they do. If you sell their boon via a purging well, they still remain within the pool, though. So after that point, the game will only show you those 4 gods. If you get more than 4 gods inside of the pool, then it will show you potentially all of those gods, essentially. So your pool is as large as you make it, but it naturally stops at 4, essentially. Event rooms are kind of like mid-shops there, in the sense that if you skip them, like that Narcissus room we took, they cannot appear again in the zone. You will not be offered it again. This is when we should probably talk about things like chamber count. So every zone has the same number of chambers, normally, that you need to go through. If you take Storm Ring? Storm Ring's pretty sexy. So if you take Narcissus there, I said I wanted to skip combat, right? Taking Narcissus means I wouldn't have to fight enemies. It still counts as a chamber. If they're called locations, more so in this game, you can actually look at our location number in the top right next to the timer there, too. In Hades 1, I believe the title is just chamber, though. Location kind of makes sense here more nowadays, though. Power Surge, not so much. Will I rarefy Storm Ring? I got Racing Thoughts. Yeah, 1 rarefy on it is pretty good. Second hammer there. It can come back. You know, just because you get offered hammer doesn't mean it won't come back again. Might be offered even on these exits. Will it actually show me what's on the exits? I don't actually know here. They do not. I wasn't certain if that's how that worked. I learned something today. More Zeus. Sounds pretty good to me. I do not want their duo, though. It's probably just double strike. No, I like Lightning Lance here, actually. Yeah, I like Lightning Lance a lot, even. Do I want to rarefy it? I think I won't. Might just be greedy and save it for a potential Hermes. I might actually want Hermes a little bit more, although Storm Ring makes Winner's Circle a little bit less good. This is a weird zone where re-rolling the doors, there's not a ton of rhyme or reason to it, I would say. It just picks one of the random rewards of the 3 here and rolls it into something else. The game tries not to offer the same reward on multiple doors, though, which is why you can see all 6 things are different here. Now, there's some exceptions to that, namely in Hera in the surface route, right? Apollo has Supernova. Hermes has Winner's Circle. Aphrodite has not that much, but there are some hammers, too, that would be interesting. It's an interesting choice, I will admit. I don't think either one is necessarily wrong. I did not really need the max magic, is the way I was looking at it. Yeah, I very much so like Storm Ring for this situation. Very good. But yeah, normally you would always go through the same number of chambers for every single zone. Even a Chaos Gate, taking a Chaos Gate counts as going through a location. I might accidentally use the term chamber often here, by the way. So that might allow you to also skip combat if that's what you're looking for. Either by, you know, just taking less damage or because the timer's looking kind of rough or something like that. Prominence Flare. It does sound funny. I'm not going to rarefy it. I don't think I'll need that max magic. I hope not at this rate. Yeah, this zone is a bit particular. I'm trying to think of other exceptions to some of these rules here. I mean, Tartarus is what you make it. Aw, man, we didn't get exactly what I hoped for here. I guess I'll take Hasty Retreat, though, with all these boons, right? Not gonna bother to go grab that max magic, I think. Only one exit here, so it has to be the final shot. Poseidon now. Poseidon now, you say? Ocean Swell? No Ocean Swell for us. I definitely do not want to swap there. I'm not a big fan of Hydraulic Might. Sea Star is funny, though, so that's the only reason I'm taking it. I feel like I might as well spend this cash. Probably just going to boost Fine Line some more here. I hope that was helpful. I think I've covered most of everything. Probably not everything. I'll probably think of things after the fact, as I do. Stop that. Mad Dog. Boing. Did I drop the cast? I guess not. Takes longer than I think sometimes here. Now, Tartarus does have a different pool of rewards. Damn it. Finally remembered to drop the cast. I'll try to knock that off. There is no max health that can be offered in Tartarus. Or max magic for that point. It's triple gold, triple palms, hex-related things, potentially. You can get a family dispute, but again, there is a cooldown, so you might not get it offered if you had one, I guess, too recently in, like, Oceanus, maybe? I was trying to think, like, because you can't get a trial family dispute here in Morningfield, so, yeah, there's a decent chance it'll just happen, right? There is Daddy. He's pretty much guaranteed, practically guaranteed to be seen in Tartarus. Arachne is very, very high percentage to be seen in the first zone as well. Narcissus, not that high of a chance to be seen. Artemis is probably the rarest of these NPCs for the most part. She tends to just not appear as often. Nemesis tends to show up at some point in this run, but only, of course, in the Underworld run. Will I take enough damage for Blackened Fleece to eventually do something? Probably. Probably. Hey, that's actually not bad. We will be taking that. A swap, huh? Don't think we care. Breath of Arrows. I think we'll be fine. If I do no additional chambers here in Tartarus, that additional Omega Move damage will carry to Chronos, if we so choose. There is a fountain room here in Tartarus in case you've never seen it. It tends to only show up when you're deep, I feel. Like, there's sort of... In every zone, there's sort of a number of chambers you need to go through before things start to happen, so to speak. In other words, the very first combat chamber you do in some place like, say, Oceanus, you know, it can't be a fountain chamber. They can't offer you Narcissus. Because that would probably just kind of feel strange, I'm guessing, you know. As soon as you enter the zone, you visit, you know, a place like that, I guess. So there's only a certain... There's a very specific window when these things can happen. Same thing with the mid shop, right? You can't go to a shop that's designed to be offered in the middle of the zone. in the very first chamber, but it also can't be like the last chamber before you're meant to exit, because then you'd get 2 shops in a row. So they prevent that by kind of having a set number of locations where it can actually appear in terms of the location count. Location count is not really important for the most part. There are ways to increase the location count, but it doesn't really change anything for the rest of the run, where you might not normally do it. For instance, in Hera, the first zone on the surface, if you visit the teeny tiny chambers in the zone, that will increase your location count. Yo, big damage. I'm not even certain what it was. I should think about the legendary here. Glorious Disaster. Oh, no. I think we can get it offered in theory. Yeah, we can. You can channel more magic into your Omega cast to repeatedly strike foes with lightning bolts. Well, it takes a lot longer to cast now, if I actually want that to happen. It basically makes it so your Prominence Flare also has Storm Ring. That's how I look at this duo boon, basically. That's how I look upon it. More boons. More! It's fun, right? I think Poseidon's Trial is actually quite easy. Hey, there we go. I actually still have a Rarify. Now that's a lot of magic. Now that's going to be costly. But the Omega cast doesn't go up in price, at least. Just the Omega attack and Omega special. But oh my god, with dual moonshot, that's quad specials right there. It's supreme overkill. Ocean swell? Oh god. I guess? Although that's kind of like too much in some ways. You know what I'm saying? So there's the Omega cast. The truth is, I probably shouldn't bother, especially now with the legendary. I should probably just be dropping a regular cast and the Omega special and go back and forth between those two, basically, to simplify things. It is funny, though. More! Okay, I'll drop 1 for fun at the start, you know? And then I can make sure we get the magic back from Lucid Gain kind of thing. We got sort of a good rhythm here. Omega attack, Omega special cast. Omega attack, Omega special cast, right? Damn, that's a lot of damage, baby. Lucid Gain. It's actually kind of helpful here, whereas the others aren't very interesting. I guess Hereditary Bane is kind of interesting, but we'll just make sure our magic stays up, I think, at that rate. Boing, boing. While we wait for them to spawn, I can drop an Omega cast here, I suppose. Oh, I'm actually out of magic. Throw it down, baby. Might be good against Chronos, going into a certain phase. Hey, our hammer here. This should actually be a fountain chamber. No, I am wrong. I think I actually just made that mistake, too, in another video recently. I kind of forget that you can just get offered hammers here. So normally you can tell if it's a fountain chamber if you just get like a single god offered, because normally in Tartarus, the rewards cannot just be a god's boon. It could be a family dispute, as we already saw. Mirrored Thrasher. Wow, that's insane. It's the quadruple on everything here. I really don't need the money, so why don't we just call it a day? More Hermes, huh? Yeah, I mean, Winter Circle would still be interesting. Oh, didn't get it. That's too bad, huh? Nitro Boost is not bad here, I think. There's no infusions to consider. Not that I don't care that much about Mean Streak. We can afford all of this still. Palm of Power. I think it's safe to say I want Fine Line. Power Surge, Double Strike. It's all decent. Probably Double Strike, though. Would think. This could still be a little spicy if I mess it up. All right. I hope that tutorial made sense, because I'm going to have to concentrate on the boss now, I think we can say. I hope it all made sense. Little tidbit, though. Just a fun fact about Tartarus, the zone. when you enter chamber 4, as it countdowns from 5 to 1, right? The 4 is just 4 eyes, and that is normally used in clocks. Because it looks better, I guess, is the basic understanding of it. So a nice little tidbit instead of the normal, you know, IV that you would do for Roman numerals. All right, let's go. Oh, he's already over. Oh, God. I could probably just stay, like, crazy far back in reality. All right, he's over. All right. Would I take deep descent, maybe? Might have been. Oh my God, it's disgusting. Oh my God. I still don't think I have time for a mega cast here, though. Sad to say. All right, we did skip. I did get an Omega cast in there. Yeah, there we go. We got the skip. Drop that down. Send him back to Mama, please. I did not. Okay. I'm trying. What? I'll be over here, buddy. We definitely do not have time for a mega cast here. But I can drop a regular cast. Probably not an omega anything. Oh, no. Oh, no. You got me. Oh, no. Yeah, that one's pretty hard if you wind up too close to him. Let's wait. Start charging us now? Not a good placement in reality. Dude, chill. Okay, this is a great time to deal some damage. We get him to half? I thought we did for a second. That is half. Max magic right now. Try to get him kind of stuck in there for a minute. Wah. He's still charging here. Look at the range on it. Woo, baby. Send him back. Wow. Wow. I don't really know. I think the damage is going to be quite well split here. But we got the big special kind of early. Yeah, I think the damage is going to be pretty well split up. Cast, attack, and special. I'm going to say attack on top. Attack on top. Aha. I knew it. Omega attack, then cast. Wow, the Omega special was, well, I mean, it was very far up there. Nevertheless, Fine Line was surprisingly, not surprisingly, very high, I would say. But damn, that was a sexy build and a half. Because we had exceptional talent. Oh, right. I had Mirror Thrasher, so Power Surge was an interesting take. And I missed out on it. Well, this is an Omega build. I guess you could say at the end of the day, we had the quad attack and special all at once. Man, that was fun. That was a great Momus build. Glorious Disaster. Don't take that boon. It's a waste. 25% dodge there, too. Wow, that was really, really cool. Friends in low places means that we saw all the NPCs. There we go. Hey, a mildly informative video for once in a very long time, right? Thank you all so much for watching. If you have questions, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what we ask for. And I shall see you in another video.